All right, strap in, everyone, because we are going deep on that absolutely wild Monday Night Football game.
Oh, yeah.
Where the Kansas City Chiefs, they just would not give up, man.
Well,
snatched a win in overtime against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Crazy game.
Crazy game. And we are armed with ESPN's post-game analysis for you folks.
Like best in the biz.
Play-by-play breakdowns. We got the expert takes from Adam Teicher and Jenna Lane.
Love those guys.
So if you're wondering how on earth Mahomes pulled off a win...
That ankle, right?
With a practically broken ankle, you are in the right place.
Absolutely.
We're also going to uncover the Chiefs' secret weapon on offense.
Ooh, I like it.
And get this.
What?
We found a stat that links this game all the way back...
No way.
...to Super Bowl LV.
You're kidding.
You ready to dive in?
I am so ready. Let's go.
Let's do it.
All right, so going into this game, both teams were facing some real challenges.
For sure.
The Chiefs, they're undefeated, right?
Yeah.
8-0, but they've had some, let's say, interesting wins this season.
Definitely some nail biters.
Yeah, like they're finding ways to win games that maybe they shouldn't be winning.
Right.
And then you've got the Buccaneers, 4-4.
Yeah.
And they were missing their top 3 wide receivers.
I mean, come on.
Talk about an uphill battle.
You got to feel for them.
Yeah, a little bit.
All right, so let's just get right into it.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Mahomes' ankle.
Oh, man.
The man throws a touchdown pass.
Beautiful pass, by the way.
Thing of beauty.
Textbook.
Textbook, right. And then immediately injures the same ankle he hurt the week before.
Like, are you kidding me?
I mean, you see him go down, and you're just like...
You're like, that's it.
That's it. He's done.
Season's over?
Season's over, right.
Right.
But this guy, he's like the Terminator or something.
He is, like the heart of that team.
All heart. All grit.
So Coach Reed, he's ready to pull Mahomes out.
Smart move, probably.
Protect your star player.
Protect your quarterback.
Uh-huh.
But Mahomes, he basically refuses to leave the field.
He is not having it.
No way, no how.
And, you know, this actually kind of reminds me of that ankle injury he had in the playoffs a couple years ago.
Oh, yeah.
2022, right? Remember Reed took him out then?
Yeah.
And Mahomes was furious.
He was not happy.
Not at all.
Not having it.
So this time, it's almost like deja vu.
Totally.
Reed almost makes the same call.
Yep.
But Mahomes, he fights for his right to play. The doctors clear him.
Unbelievable.
And he's back in the game.
Just like that.
It's incredible, really.
He really is. And you know what? He didn't just play.
No.
He dominated.
He took over.
Led the Chiefs on this epic 15-play drive.
Ate up like 8 minutes of clock, right?
Over 8 minutes. I mean, it was unbelievable.
Just like methodically moving the ball down the field.
Just wearing down the Bucs defense.
Yeah.
But while everyone's focused on Mahomes and this miracle ankle, another Chief was quietly having like a career-defining game.
You're talking about Kareem Hunt, right?
I am talking about Kareem Hunt.
Okay, because his performance was like night and day.
It really was.
First half.
Invisible.
Practically invisible.
Yeah, where was he?
Exactly.
But then second half.
Oh, he explodes.
Especially during that game-tying drive.
Unstoppable.
Unstoppable. Ended the game with over 100 rushing yards.
Wow.
And get this, he scored the winning touchdown.
Right.
In overtime.
Talk about a clutch performance.
Talk about stepping up when your team needs you.
Absolutely.
It's like he was saving all his energy.
Right.
For when they needed it most.
For those crucial moments.
And, you know, we can't forget about DeAndre Hopkins.
Oh, yeah, he was huge.
Second game with the Chiefs.
Second game.
And he's already making a huge impact.
It's like he's been there for years.
Right. Like he just fits right in.
Totally.
I mean, the Chiefs traded for him to give their receiving core a boost.
Smart move.
And boy, is he delivering.
8 catches for 86 yards and 2 touchdowns.
That's a stat line.
That's a statement.
Especially with Mahomes playing on one leg, basically.
Yeah, he really stepped up and took some of the pressure off Mahomes.
For sure. And speaking of offensive strategies.
All right, let's talk about it.
Let's shift over to the Buccaneers.
Okay.
Now, without their top receivers, they really had to rely on tight end Cade Otton.
Yep.
And their running backs.
Really limited their playbook.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, they managed to tie the game late in the fourth quarter.
Right.
Thanks to a great touchdown pass from Mayfield to Ryan Miller.
Yeah, they showed some flashes.
Definitely.
But their defense just couldn't contain the Chiefs.
Especially on third down.
It was rough.
All 4 of the Chiefs' touchdowns.
I know.
Came on third down conversions.
Think about that.
That's like killer.
It's brutal.
It is.
And, you know, you got to feel for rookie Josh Hayes.
Oh, yeah, poor guy.
First NFL start.
Game.
And his assignment.
Oh,
DeAndre
All right.
Hopkins, talk about a trial by fire.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
That's a baptism by fire.
No kidding.
I mean, it really shows you how much the Buccaneers were struggling.
They were out of options.
And get this.
Another crazy stat.
Another crazy stat.
Hit me.
It actually connects this game to Super Bowl LV.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Remember that one.
How could I forget?
But how does Super Bowl LV relate to Monday night's game?
All right, so the Buccaneers took this really passive approach to pressuring Mahomes.
Interesting.
Like, their blitz rate was incredibly low.
Wow.
Almost identical to their strategy in Super Bowl LV.
You're kidding.
I'm not.
So are they, like, revealing a trend here?
It makes you wonder, right? Like,
Yeah.
are the Buccaneers maybe unintentionally showing us how to defend elite quarterbacks like Mahomes?
That's a really good point.
Something to think about.
It is. It makes you wonder if it was, like, a deliberate strategy.
Right.
Or if they were just limited by who they had on the field.
Yeah, I mean, they were missing a lot of key players.
Yeah, but that's what's so cool about this, right? Like, we're not just looking at what happened.
Yeah.
We're digging into the strategies.
The why behind the what.
Exactly.
Mhm.
The individual performances.
Yeah.
And what this all means going forward.
The big picture stuff.
This is why we deep dive, folks.
Absolutely. This is where it gets interesting.
It's like, it's more than just the plays on the field, right?
Oh, absolutely.
You got Mahomes out there playing hurt,
Yeah.
and he's willing his team to victory.
Talk about leadership.
That's, like, infectious, you know?
Totally. The whole team feeds off that.
And then you got the Bucs
Yeah.
battling injuries, just trying to figure things out.
Yeah, they're trying to find their groove.
It really shows you, like, the mental side of the game.
Oh, yeah. Huge part of it.
You see one team that just finds a way to win no matter what.
Yep.
And then the other team's still, like, trying to put the pieces together.
But they're not quite there yet.
But hey, let's not count the Bucs out just yet.
Oh, no, not at all.
They got a bye week coming up.
Much needed.
And Mike Evans is supposed to be back after that.
That's huge.
That's going to be a game changer.
Absolutely. Their offense is going to look totally different with him back.
Right, and their schedule gets a lot easier after the bye.
Yeah. They had a good chance to make a run.
Only one of their remaining opponents has a winning record.
Yeah.
So they could definitely sneak into the playoffs.
For sure. And, you know, speaking of comebacks,
Okay.
let's go back to the Chiefs for a second.
Yeah.
Still undefeated.
It's impressive.
And it's not just Mahomes.
No.
The whole team is stepping up.
Yeah, they got contributors everywhere.
We talked about Hunt's amazing game and the impact Hopkins is already having.
For sure.
But there's like another layer to this victory that really shows the Chiefs' depth.
Okay, what do you mean?
Well, think about the trade for Hopkins.
Right, they gave up a lot to get him.
They gave up some serious assets.
Yeah.
But it's already paying off.
It looks like a steal now. They knew they needed more firepower.
Yeah, their receivers were a little thin.
Especially with Mahomes' injury history.
Makes sense.
You got to protect your investment, right?
Right. Got to have weapons around him.
So it was a bold move.
For sure.
And some people questioned it at the time.
Yeah, I remember some analysts were skeptical.
But it's looking like a genius decision now.
It really is. They're not just relying on Mahomes to carry the offense.
Right. They got weapons all over the field.
And that's what makes them so dangerous.
They can win in so many different ways.
They can grind it out on the ground with Hunt.
Yeah.
They can air it out to Hopkins.
Mm-hmm.
And they got Mahomes.
Who can just make something out of nothing.
Even when he's not 100%.
It's crazy.
It really is.
And that brings us back to Mahomes' ankle.
Oh, yeah. How's that thing holding up?
Right. I mean, it's amazing to see him play through the pain.
It is?
But you got to wonder how long he can keep this up.
That's the million-dollar question, right?
It is. You want your star quarterback out there.
Of course.
But you also don't want to risk making the injury worse.
It's a tough call for Coach Reed.
Yeah, he's got to find that balance.
No doubt about it. But for now, let's just appreciate what we saw on Monday night.
Agreed.
A gutsy performance from Mahomes.
Sure.
A surprise hero in Kareem Hunt.
Absolutely.
And a statement win for the undefeated Chiefs.
It was a great game.
It was.
And you know, remember that stat we talked about earlier?
Which one?
The Bucs low blitz rate?
Oh, yeah, the Super Bowl LV connection.
What if that's not just a Bucs thing?
Okay, I like where you're going with this.
What if that's a sign of a new trend
Oh, interesting.
in how teams are defending elite quarterbacks?
You think the old strategies just don't work against guys like Mahomes?
I mean, it's possible, right?
It's something to keep an eye on for sure.
Yeah, we'll have to see if other teams start using similar strategies.
That would be fascinating to see.
It makes you wonder if this game was like a turning point.
You mean for the whole league?
Yeah, not just for the Bucs and the Chiefs.
Like, maybe this is the start of a new era in defensive football.
It's possible.
The way teams defend elite quarterbacks is always evolving.
It's true.
So maybe the Bucs, even in a loss,
Yeah.
stumbled onto something groundbreaking.
Maybe they're ahead of the curve.
It's definitely possible.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
But before we move on,
Yeah.
there's one more thing I want to touch on.
Okay, what's that?
We've talked a lot about the Chiefs' offense,
Right.
but there were some interesting things happening on the defensive side of the ball, too.
Oh, for sure.
Even without their star receivers,
Yeah.
the Bucs had some bright spots.
They did.
Those 2 sacks, each from Vita Vea and Kalaja Kancey.
Oh, those were huge.
They really disrupted Mahomes' rhythm.
Yeah, those guys were beasts.
And we can't forget about that forced fumble by Tyke Smith on Travis Kelce.
Oh, yeah, that was a big play.
Even in a loss,
Mm-hmm.
you see these flashes of brilliance from the Buccaneers.
Yeah, they got some serious talent on that defense. Yeah.
It speaks to their potential.
Absolutely.
They've been hit hard by injuries,
No doubt.
but the talent is there.
It is.
Once they get healthy,
Yeah.
they could be a real threat in the playoffs.
I wouldn't want to face them in the postseason.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Okay.
what's the one big takeaway you want our listener to walk away with?
That's a good question. I think the Chiefs showed us what they're made of.
Yeah.
Even with Mahomes, hurt.
Uh-huh.
They found different ways to win.
It's impressive.
It really is. It's a sign of a true contender.
Mm-hmm.
And the Bucs,
Yeah,
they got potential.
they do.
They really do. But
Lots of setbacks this season.
injuries, man.
It's tough.
It is. But with those key players coming back.
Right, like Evans.
Exactly.
That's going to change things.
Oh, yeah. They could be a real force in the second half of the season.
So we got 2 teams,
2 different stories.
but both leaving us with a lot to think about.
That's for sure.
And for you listening at home, here's something to chew on.
Okay, hit me.
The Bucs, they didn't really pressure Mahomes, right?
Right, that low blitz rate.
And we saw that in Super Bowl LV too.
Interesting.
So is this like a pattern?
Okay.
Are we seeing a new trend in how teams are defending these elite quarterbacks?
You're saying like maybe the old ways don't work anymore?
Against a guy like Mahomes, maybe not.
I like it.
Something to think about.
Definitely something to watch as the season goes on.
For sure.
It'll be fascinating to see if other teams try the same thing.
Right, like is this a turning point?
Maybe.
Not just for the Bucs and the Chiefs.
But for the whole league.
Yeah, like maybe this is the start of a new era of defensive football.
It's possible.
I mean, the game's always evolving, right?
That's what keeps it exciting.
And maybe the Buccaneers, even though they lost,
Yeah.
maybe they stumbled onto something big.
Maybe they're ahead of the game.
Who knows?
We'll have to wait and see.
Well, folks, another Monday Night Football classic in the books.
It's a good one.
Broken down and analyzed right here on the Deep Dive.
Deepest dive of the biz.
We hope you enjoyed it. And until next time,
Keep those football brains working.
keep that passion for the game alive.